Yo, what's up everybody? Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this sound real quick. Okay, like the description says, it's a playable neuro sound. All right, so that's what I'm going to be teaching you today. By the way, completely for free, so got you guys. But in exchange for that, do you mind tossing me a follow or a subscribe, just so that way I know you're into this type of stuff, so that way I can keep doing videos like this and keep making music for you guys. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and build this sound again real quick. Sounds like this. All right, so definitely inspired by like dudes like Cone Sound, Noisia, maybe Kill the Noises, older stuff, all those legends. You know them. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and start by building this sound. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a MIDI track. Basically, we're going to want anything that can give us a unison saw. So I mean, I know you can do this in Massive, Serum, Harmor. Pretty sure you can do it in FL, or excuse me. Pretty sure you can do it in... I don't know what I was going to say there. You can definitely do it in FL. But anything that gives you a unison saw, you don't even need to really have unison. It just really needs to be a low saw wave. I'm going to do 15 voices, and that's actually specific because this is going to be a bass. We want it to be mono compatible, meaning we want to have a voice in the middle, and 15 is going to give us that. 16 or 14 won't, so we're going to stick it right there. And these are probably good settings for that. Oh, let me go ahead and move the Serum. Sorry. Okay, none of these settings are going to be specific, by the way, so you can kind of just get them close. This is more just on how to make a sound like this. So I'm going to go ahead and go in here, clear that, add a sine wave. I'll explain why I'm not using the sub later, but let's keep going. I'm going to add a little bit of attack to this envelope, so that way we don't have a click here and a little bit of a release, so it's a little bit more natural. We're going to add another envelope, pull this down a little bit. This is going to kind of be a filter pluck. So that way the attack has a little bit more highs and then it kind of tapers itself off. Makes the sound a little bit more natural when we're playing it. Again, this is to be a playable synth. So Shift Alt to make that unipolar. Somewhere like right there works, and then a shape like this I think is pretty solid. We'll hear it now. Okay, something like that works. Now what we're going to do, oh, and by the way, it doesn't matter on B because it's just a sine wave, so it's not going to affect it really much anyways. Now what we're going to do is add distortion and do about 95%. I wouldn't go all the way to 100 because we don't want to crunch it too much yet. It's going to be later. Okay, something like that is perfect. And now, if you're in another DAW or DAW outside of Ableton, you should still be able to follow along with this, although it might just take you a second to find other knobs. Again, I think this is mostly just theory on how to make a sound like this, so you should be able to replicate it still. All right, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 4 notch filters. Now, the idea of this is we're going to add a bunch of notch filters. You can maybe do this with a phaser or however you like, really, but we're just going to destroy sort of what's going on in the upper range of this really harmonically rich sound, which is a saw wave, which we started with. And we're going to do that by randomly adjusting the frequency, the resonance, the amount, and the rate on all these filters. I wouldn't go too much lower though than maybe 400, 500 hertz, because again, same thing with the unison. We don't want to do too much damage down here because that's what's going to give us an even sounding full sound if we have presence down here. Also, it's more okay to do this in the highs because of how they're physically smaller, but again, the whole frequency spectrum is totally a topic for another video because it's complex and I don't want to lose anyone here. So you can kind of just follow along with what I'm doing here. I wouldn't make any of the rates super fast because you maybe will hear the filtering too much, but up to you, your sound. You don't have to copy it exactly, although you can if you want. You'll just have my sound and people will know it. Okay, so you kind of hear the filter motion on there. That's exactly what we're looking for. All right, next, what we're going to do is we're going to bake those filters kind of back into the sound and bring back all those harmonics we took out. So the first thing I'm going to do to accomplish that is literally just boost the highs back into it. And we're going to distort this and probably soft clip it later, do some sort of compression in our mix down or edit it later. This is sound design, so doing a boost like this is totally chill. Don't freak out. Like they always tell you, don't boost, only cut. but that's only in mixing. We're sound designing, so it's fine. All right, now what we're going to do is we're basically going to do anything we can to distort the sound and sort of give it its character back. So I've got a bunch of different examples of how I did that up here, but I'm going to show you by using a combination of saturation and compression first, and then I'll show you all the other stuff. So we'll throw on a glue compressor and then a saturator, okay? We'll just kind of do a little bit here. Nothing crazy. We actually don't need to soft clip it yet there. Soft sign here. All right, that should be good. Okay, so there's our bass pretty much. All right, so something like that. So let me show you some of those other examples. So like here we have an amp. This is my favorite one, just the Ableton amp. All right, so that's the Ableton amp. One thing I would do on this one is put an EQ and definitely kind of tame the highs a little bit, so you can do a roll off. If you're wondering why my roll off is smooth and you can't get it that way, it's because I have oversampling on. It kind of disables like an invisible wall. That's not literally what it's doing, but that's a whole nother topic for another video. So yeah, there's that. You can use just a saturator. So there's a combination of two saturators that I think work well. This one kind of sounds 808-y. Alright, and then this one is just a compressor. And then this one is like a custom distortion rack that I made, Super Rack. Okay, so now you may be listening to these and you're like, hey, a lot of those sound a little bit cooler. You're doing different things with it. So here's some options you can add to the sound to make it a little bit cooler. So if you're still here, thank you for sticking around to this point. I'll add a third envelope, and this one will kind of be a plucking shape again, but a really, really sharp one. And we're going to add it to the semitones on the sine wave. And then again, Shift Alt to make it unipolar, and then it's going to kind of give it a pluck kind of kick feel. So you can hear it when we bypass all destinations. You know, it's even sounding when you play it. Now when we put that on, it kind of has that thump to it. So that's totally optional. Another thing, you can add mono and some portamento to make it glide, and that's always really fun. So kind of getting into 808 territory. All right, lastly, you can add an octave of pitch bend, so that way you can do really crazy stuff. And I'll show you again this if you look at my keyboard cam, and that's kind of why I have this there. If you haven't noticed it by now, you should, because it's nice blue and lit up. That I'm doing fun things with the keyboard. That's totally what this sound is about. It's not about a resampling Neuro sound. So here, I'll show you why I added those pitch bend automations or ranges. So it's like a quick way to do like an octave pitch bend. It's also a quick way to switch octaves too if you're like playing with one hand and you don't want to like do the buttons here. So like watch. Okay, so that's like really fun way to play this bass. You don't have to do that too. It also sounds good with just like the regular old two semitones, so just a whole step. Right, so however you want to play it. But yeah, that's the whole point of this bass. It's a playable thing. I'm not going to include the patch in the description unless maybe this gets like 1,000 views. Let's shoot big, okay? And then I'll put the patch in the description for free. But let's do 1,000 views. Who knows? Maybe I'm reaching too far there. But anyways, that's that sound. If you have any questions... Ooh, actually, you know what? A couple more things I want to do. Keep sticking around. Keep listening. So one thing that you may be saying, hey, I'm having a really hard time mixing this bass. You gave me a bum bass. No, I didn't, and I can prove that right now. So here's a couple things you can do to kind of mix this in your song later. If you're having trouble with that, just do something like this. Take out the bass and replace it with your own bass that kind of is fitting with your song. Right, you can do that. You can also do a utility. If you're having kind of mono compatibility issues still with it and you have a bunch of other stereo sounds in your song, just go ahead and make your bass mono. You do it around 150 and you don't really lose anything to the sound at all. In fact, maybe even sounds a little bit more full and even. So, okay, that is this tutorial. Again, if you liked it, go ahead and give me a follow, give me a subscribe, whatever you want to do to show me that you want more of this, and I will do more of this. Yeah, hope everybody has a great day, and thank you for watching. Yeah. Okay, forgot to add, so cutting this in here real quick. I'm also planning on doing a bunch more of these kind of tutorial videos and YouTube content. So seriously, if you do like this stuff, let me know. Give me feedback, give me suggestions, whatever you want to see that you think I can deliver for you. Let's do it. Have a great day, everybody.